Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, now Friday, number 19 day for this number 8 months for the year 2022. My name na Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief and the spokesman of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense King, our own countryman. Wanna welcome to our daily podcast, a program where they bring una the truth, meaningful information, fact-based analysis for help we as we waka for this waka to our freedom, the independence of Ambazonia. Good citizens of Ambazonia, the French newspaper have joined in to weep as La République du Cameroon mourns its top commanders that have been neutralized by Ambazonian forces on the battlefield on the streets of Ambazonia. Away from the propaganda by Dion and Chris Anu that seems to spell doom for the Ambazonian people, deep within the cycles of La République du Cameroon and the French government, they mourn the death of their top commander. Leaked audio shows Ngute privately crying the death of their overall commander in Kumba. The French newspaper La Réalité has published a front-page article to mourn the commander of the Bees in Kumba, the occupation forces, their commander, Oliver Esame Eyanga, who was killed less than a week after he paraded the dead body of Oliver Leke on the streets of Kumba. One Oliver died, another Oliver follows. The father of Oliver, Major Oliver Esamba, the commander of the Bees in Kumba. His father is the overall commander of all Cameroon military personnel in Yaoundé. His death marks the fourth top overall commander of Cameroon military on the battlefield in Ambazonia. La République du Cameroon is losing. More Cameroon military forces have died in Ambazonia than the Americans were dying in their last year in Afghanistan and in Iraq. For the past 2 weeks alone, over 14 named Cameroon terrorist occupation forces have died in Ambazonia. Since the beginning of this year, every single month have marked 2-digit loss of Cameroon occupation forces on the theater field in Ambazonia. Cameroon is losing, it is unsustainable. While across the Mongo in La République du Cameroon, there is confusion as shame have descended upon Atanga Paul, the Form 3 dropout conman who have been tapped by Biya as Minister of Territorial Administration. Atanga Paul, in his blunder and incompetence, have punched the key strategy that was being used by the Cameroon government to fight Ambazonia in its communication war. Atanga Paul, who have publicly go after Vision Card top journalist Bruno Mbinjang for continually exposing to the French Cameroon public that Cameroon is losing the war. In trying to justify his attack against this journalist, Atanga Paul have revealed to the world that the Cameroon government have not only paid but had ordered journalists to toe the line in its war and had been providing guidelines regarding the reporting of news that is coming out from Ambazonia. Such tactics can only succeed when they are done in the dark. Atanga Paul have revealed, just like Ngute in the past day, top military strategies of La République du Cameroon. He is under fire. Atanga Paul, even though being the Minister of Territorial Administration, one of the top jobs in La République du Cameroon, have since been cut off from his bodyguards. He now have just 2 bodyguards walking around with him. It will be a good opportunity for Ambazonians in Yaoundé, and anybody who can get the job done, you know what I mean, should do so with huge rewards awaiting him from the Ambazonian Governing Council. Ngute has also come under strong scrutiny, according to our intelligence, from the Cameroon military for exposing their major strategy against Ambazonia in his last interview, where he attended a debate in Pidgin. Ngute have revealed publicly the main strategy that the Cameroon government is using and is planning to use and their benchmark against the war in Ambazonia. Ngute have revealed in the Pidgin interview that the Cameroon government do not have any consideration of Ambazonians' safety or returning back home as a condition for peace in Ambazonia. As a matter of fact, he did reveal that there are only two indicators for Cameroon government to consider victory over Ambazonia: revenue in CDC and tax collection in Dion. This should not only reaffirm the Ambazonian roadmap, but all Ambazonians should get to work to make sure that these two indicators shows red in La République du Cameroon. CDC should become our priority in our battle for freedom. Tax revenue from the sea in Mindanao should become our second top priority. On the military side, the Ngute have revealed that the objective of La République du Cameroon to show military victory will be the clearing of Ambazonian checkpoints and road control and our ability to control highway road from now up to December. This should be a very good intelligence for all Ambazonian forces, as this is a collective struggle. Every Ambazonian force that controls a highway road and that regularly set up roadblock should be mindful of this intelligence. Their decapitation is the primary military objective that have been set forth by the Cameroon government. The future looks doomed to La République du Cameroon, considering the strategy put forth by Paul Biya's presidency, which was aimed at making sure that all Ambazonian states should have a representative of Cameroon. Colonial SDO and DO seems to have failed, and they have changed course. After repeated attempts to install DOs and colonial SDOs in areas where Cameroon have zero administrative control, the change of course, as announced by Ngute and Atanga, shows that Cameroon have completely been defeated. Ambazonians who have repeatedly come under attack in our liberated area as a result of Cameroon government trying to install her colonial administrators in the name of DOs and SDOs to try to demonstrate some type of legitimacy should know that our strategy have worked, and we should have kudos to ourselves and prepare to re-strategize to take on the enemy where it matters the most. The Cameroon state have abandoned the idea of gaining legitimacy even through their so-called House of Chiefs. The international community have paid less attention to such legitimacy, as we have proven beyond reasonable doubt those chiefs that are in that house are all in exile and does not represent the aspiration of their people. Neither have they tried to address any grassroots concerns of their citizens. Cameroon have lost the case to legitimize itself or even claim some semblance of legitimacy over Ambazonia. It has moved from a military occupation now to an active exploitatory posture where the enemy seeks nothing but tax collection and the exploitation of our cash crops to benefit and fuel its own economy. Ambazonia should take note, and all defense groups on ground zero should act accordingly. Fight smart. On education, Ambazonian community schools across our national territory are all geared up and prepared to open schools doors to our community on the 1st of September 2022. All community schools, all private schools, and mission schools and religion schools that have been awarded the status of community schools by our forces on the ground and through the Ambazonian Governing Council Educational Board will be opening up their school come 1st September 2022.
Primary school bandits and advice to the Ambazonia defense force. A soldier defend and fight for the people so as to make them happy. And also want to tell you that you should put God first in all that you do, because the fear of Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And use the wisdom from the Lord and the independence we are all looking for will be ours.
That was a wonderful speech on the 1st of October presented by the first student in our class in a liberated area in our community schools. Community schools had geared up yesterday with their last meeting, preparatory meeting with the officials of the Ambazonian Governing Council to prepare for school resumption in our community school. Cameroon government schools are banned. And we want to call on the attention of our people that we have taken enough measures with our meetings with in particularly mission schools who have accepted to make some concession in terms of school fees, which have been one of the biggest problems that have lured our people to put themselves in peril by attending Cameroon government schools. We hope that there will be many positions available for IDPs in mission schools, religion schools, and in our community schools. Community schools have almost doubled this year. We want to thank all the chiefs who have been engaged to make sure their villages have schools for their children, schools that are acceptable and that represent and reflect the identity of their people. We'll continue to work hard to make sure that community schools are all over our territory and it reflects our aspiration. We will equally work hard to close the doors and burn to the dust every Cameroon government school that attempts to open its door in our territory. Teachers who teach in Cameroon government school are warned, if you resume job, you have a big price to pay. Be sure for that. While in Bamenda, we have had feedback from the schools we had mentioned who had previously violated the liberation conditions set forth by the Governing Council for schools to open as community schools. Some of them, their students have put on uniform within school campus and sang Cameroon national anthem. Those are forbidden. Any school that will violate such laws or such agreement in the future will be closed immediately and their teachers will be sanctioned. They will be held responsible for the activities within their school. No excuse for pressure from La République du Cameroon will be accepted for any violation of our liberation standard that have been set forth to pay allegiance to Ambazonia and also to show respect to the students who are in the bushes fighting for our freedom. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, to close, we want to salute the Bamenda Brigade, 5th Brigade, that had carried out a successful raid yesterday in Quen, targeting a Cameroon military post. 4 Cameroon terrorist occupation forces were neutralized in the course of these actions, and yesterday the Ambazonian Defense Forces, in a joint operations with the Mountain Lions, carried out operations along the highway to enforce the Semak plate ban. There have also been news coming out from the Ambazonian Defense Forces that one of the top spies that was used by the Cameroon occupation forces that had been put in a secure house in Bamenda, this individual was used to bring Cameroon military into Batibo to attack a liberated area that hosted the Ambazonian Defense Forces headquarters. That black leg was secured and he was kept under Cameroon protection. Our forces, intelligence forces, has carried out an operation and nabbed him. There will be zero tolerance to people who collaborate or enable Cameroon military operations on the ground. Black Legs will have one-way ticket. His ticket will be delivered. There will be no mercy at all with anyone who collaborate with the Cameroon terrorist occupation military. Capo Daniel, signing off.